Hey up and welcome to Callum's Corner on football. So it's one of my weekly football videos. It's a new series that I've brought in. Now it's quite late at night now on Friday. Tomorrow is the Manchester Derby, which I'm eagerly anticipating. So I'm mainly going to be talking about that, but at the end of the broadcast, at the end of the vid, there will be my 3 tips for fantasy football. If you haven't already, there is a Callum's Corner Premier League Fantasy Football League going on the main one. You know the one. I'll put a link so you can join my league in the description. Get involved. I haven't had a great start, but I'm going to be on it tomorrow. I keep forgetting to make my substitutions in time. Right, so Manchester Derby tomorrow, and an added element of spice in that we've got Pep Guardiola and Jose Mourinho, the 2 gladiators, the 2 titans, the super coaches, locking horns again, as they have so many times in the past. So, my opinion on who's going to win, I may as well start with that, is Man United. They are bigger and stronger, and I think that will show. I think this will be the first time that Pep Guardiola will see what a physical league the Premier League can be. I think Man United will really go toe-to-toe to them, and I think the physicality and the presence of Ibrahimovic up front and Rooney bustling round, I think they will just about overpower City. I wouldn't be surprised to see Fellaini or Ibrahimovic get the goal from a header or a knock-on. It's very interesting how Mourinho has rejuvenated Man United. I personally think when he came back to England from Real Madrid, I said this in some tweets a long time ago, that I believed he was a broken man then. I believed that the bitterness of coming second to such a magnificent star-studded team as Barcelona, they were almost insurmountable for most of his time there, although they did win the league once, and they were, an absolutely incredible achievement to win it the way they did Madrid. But I think he wanted the Man United job. I don't know whether you know that, it's quite widely known now. He wanted the Man United job when he found out Ferguson was going. And he was desperate. He was getting his agent on the phone. And apparently when he found out that the job had gone to David Moyes, apparently he actually cried. He was beside himself. And he came back to Chelsea as a second choice, I think. He won the league. He's still a great coach. You saw what he did in his first season there. But I think he saw the way the wind was blowing with Louis van Gaal. I think he knew that he'd be gone by the end of the season, and he knew he wanted that job. I don't think he was really that happy at Chelsea. I don't think he did all he could to resolve the kind of strife and, the uproar that was going on at Chelsea at that time. I don't think his mind was fully there. I think he's come back into this Man United job after a proper rest for the first time in a long time, and he's come back rejuvenated. I think we're seeing the Mourinho of old. In the transfer market, he moved like a predator. He moves the way Arsene Wenger needs to move. He identified his targets, he identified the weak areas of the team, and he got 3, 4 top-class players in who all strengthen that team. Especially Ibrahimovic, especially Bailey as well, that defender, he looks good, and Pogba as well, just adds extra height. He could be on the score sheet this week as well, I wouldn't be surprised. What was I going to say now? I was going to talk more about, I suppose I should talk a little bit about Man City. Guardiola has come in and he's done very, very well so far, but I just think they're in for a shock this weekend. I think at some point he's going to learn the physical truths of the Premier League, Guardiola, and I think this could be that weekend. And I love the Manchester derbies. I do. I grew up watching Niall Quinn scoring goals for Man City, and Uwe Rosler for City as well, and later on Georgi Kinkatze. And also, Man United had some stunning players back then, but I was, as a Blackburn Rovers fan, saw Man United very much as a rival, because at one point we were, vying for the league with them for a couple of years, and, the year before we won it, and then we won it. So I always wanted Man United to lose back then, but they had some great players, a young Paul Scholes, Roy Keane, always magnificent, wasn't he? Eric Cantona, I grew up watching Eric Cantona, and he was a great player. And then Andy Cole. He was no Alan Shearer though. Alan Shearer is the be-all and end-all of 90s, kind of 1990s, early 2000s Premier League football strikers. Well, actually, he's been in be-all and end-all of strikers, full stop, Alan Shearer, especially at Blackburn Rovers before he did his cruciate ligament for the second time. He lost just a tiny bit of pace and power. He was just God for Blackburn Rovers. If you haven't, go and look on YouTube for the Alan Shearer's goals in our title winning season. They were just incredible. Best striker in the world at that point. So let's talk about the 3 fantasy football Premier League tips that I've got for you. I've got the fixtures up, and there's not a whole lot of value in there, if I'm totally honest with you. There are some very tight games, very, very tight games indeed, but I am going for... Where have they gone? Where have they gone? Let me just pause it for a second. Oh, it wouldn't even let me pause it. Premier League. Probably should have been more organised than this. It was up on my screen, I swear. But yeah, you should come and join the Callum's Army. The Callum's Army League. Right, here we go. My 3 tips are Ibrahimovic. If you haven't got him in your team, I'd have him in. And he wants a performance against his old manager Guardiola. He hates him. He hates him. I like Ibrahimovic. He's a winner. He's a bad boy. He's like myself, a lone wolf. Doesn't play by all the same rules. So I'd have Ibrahimovic in there. Now, Arsenal versus Southampton. Southampton, normally a solid bet in fantasy football, or any kind of betting, but they haven't started the season that well under their new manager. Arsenal just seemed to click last week, and I'd have Alexis Sanchez in your team. He is my fantasy football star man this week. Have him in, captain. And finally, it's tough, but I'm torn between either the West Ham versus Watford. Watford are going to be much more solid defensively this year under their new Italian coach, Walter Materazzi. He's a real tactician. But the returning Payet and the returning Lanzini, if you're looking for a bargain, Lanzini, if he starts, could do some damage. I don't know whether he will start though, so you will be taking a risk if you include him. But he is a gem, Lanzini. He's a really, really good player. Ask any West Ham fan and they'll tell you he is the oil that lubricates that engine. Or it could be worth having a Liverpool player in. Leicester tend to start the season playing quite openly. They haven't had quite the same spark so far yet this season. I'm not saying they won't, but I would be looking at Firmino, especially as he's playing as a false 9 quite often at the moment. I haven't put him in yet this year. Last season he was included as a midfielder, and if he's playing as a false 9, effectively a striker, there's so much value to be had in a player like that. With your fantasy football, I would recommend setting your team up in this way. 1 goalkeeper, I mean that's mandatory, you've got to have your goalkeeper. 3 centre-backs I play, and you can play full-backs as your centre-back. Hector Bellerin is a must-have in any fantasy football team. He gets assists, Arsenal keep a fair amount of clean sheets, he gets forward, he's often star man for Arsenal. So 3 centre-backs, and then you want 4 midfielders, 4 and then 3 attackers. So you've got the maximum amount of attacking players on the pitch possible, because they're more likely to do something. Can get you a little bit buggered over if you have a no scoring week, but you know, it's a risky one, and it's rare in the Premiership nowadays. It's all about hubbub and entertainment, and goals are almost mandatory, aren't they? Especially when Liverpool are playing. So that's been my little football blog. I will be coming at you very shortly with an extended Q&A. Now I'm very, very excited about this. I've just started working on this. I have got a third party coming in. It's a single mum lady who lives down the road and comes in and does a bit of cleaning for us sometimes. So I'm going to pay her for an hour, and she's going to interview me, holding the camera and stuff and asking the questions. So it's going to be like a professional interview. I put it out on my Twitter with the hashtag #AskCallum. So any questions you've got, please do hit me with them, and not just superficial ones like who do you think will win the league and stuff, because I will do a football Q&A, so you can put those on there as well. But for the main Q&A, which is my celebration for hitting 30,000 subscribers, which is magic, and thank you all of you. But yeah, for this main one, I'm being interviewed, and it's going to be really special. So hit me up on there, Ask Callum, hashtag, and probing questions, anything you want to know about me. You know, I want nothing is taboo with me. You know, I'm happy to share it all. That's the reason that I do this. Me and you.